Hey guys, let's talk about last night's episode of Almost Human. And let me just start off by saying I was really excited about this premiere. I'd been anticipating it for a while after I saw the promo for it, and it looked really good, and I was super excited. I want to say, unfortunately, I don't think it lived up to my expectations, but that being said, I still think it has the potential to be and can be a good series. The premise is pretty much about a cop who is live like I believe we're in 2048, and we have a cop whose team was pretty much wiped out because somehow a mission that they went on was sold out to them, and they were ambushed, and all of his people were killed except for himself. And in that process, he lost a leg, and he has like a prosthetic type leg, but it's kind of like very futuristic. And that's the whole point of the show. It's a very futuristic type show. And so we've got a little bit of like RoboCop meets like, a little bit of Beverly Hills Cop, because, you've got like obviously the white cop, black cop kind of pairing going on. Is not really humorous in any way, but, they're going to obviously have that kind of shtick between the two of them. Now, I think the problem that I had with this premiere was the characters were just kind of bland. I don't know. Like, I found that, like, the main character, his name is Carl Urban. And like I said at the beginning, he has woken up from a 2-year coma. And he's still, or no, I believe he's 2 years ago this happened to him. And he's still trying to figure out what happened, why he was ambushed, how he was ambushed. And he's having all these flashes. And he's, been going to, I guess, like, pretty much what you would kind of like a mind shrink, and he's putting him under, and he's being able to have these memories, and without doing this he doesn't get these memories, and he's getting flashes of his ex-girlfriend, and he's having flashes of like what actually happened and how his team was turned on, and everything that happened, but he can't quite pinpoint how this happened. So now we're in present day, which is like 2048, and the crime has gotten so bad that every cop has to have an android, a synthetic that rides along with them. And he is just like not interested in it at all. So the one android that he has, he pretty much pushes him out of the car. He gets run over. So now he has to get a new one. And that brings us to Dorian. And Dorian is an older model that they used to use, but they found that these weren't as effective because they were too emotional. They had too much of a human side to them. But for some reason, Dorian was still in the rotation, and once they didn't have any more of the new androids to use, they decided to bring Dorian back out and pair him up with Carl. So, I think Michael Ealy, who plays this character, does a fairly good job. He seems a little bit robotic. He has to play it obviously like he's a robot, but he's emotional, and he's kind of funny, kind of quirky, which I think will make for an interesting pairing. Now, Carl, I find, is a little too bland. He just plays a character like, the typical grouchy cop who doesn't want an android, but now is stuck with one, and I guess has to deal with it. And he's still trying to put together the last 2 years of his life. And he's just Mr. Grumpy Pants. And he's not really cool to be around, and he's not fun to be around. And, he kind of gives everybody the cold shoulder. But he's, being called back to duty by his captain, and he has to do what he has to do. So, and then we have the supporting characters. And Lily Taylor is the captain, and then we've got like Minka Kelly from Friday Night Lights, and she's not my favorite actress in any stretch, but so I don't know if all these sub characters really round out the cast well enough for myself. They're not really bringing any layers, and I know it's only the first episode, so that's why I'm trying to stay positive, because I really want this show to succeed. And actually tonight is going to be the second episode. So it was supposed to air back in November 4th, but they pushed it a couple weeks, and they aired the first one last night, and now they're going to air the second episode tonight. And I'm hoping that the second episode will be give us a bit more bang. It's done by J.J. Abrams, and so of course, he's had a hand in a lot of successful TV shows, but I just don't want this to become the typical, case of the week, what's going to happen next with the overarching story. Now, the one tidbit that was kind of interesting was the fact that Carl's ex-wife was the one who turned on them. So obviously she's the one who was working for the other side and passed on the intel that they were going to be at this location, and which is why they were ambushed. So I thought that was kind of cool, and we'll see where that goes. Now, as for everything else, we, like I said, Michael Ealy's character can have some layers, and I think he does bring some layers to, the show. I think that Carl's character, one, needs to lighten up, and I think that they need to show the use of this technology, because we're pretty much trying to say that it's not so futuristic that this isn't something that could possibly happen in a few years. So I think that the show needs to really embrace the coolness of the technology and showcase that maybe a little bit more. And I'm hoping that that's what they will do. Now, the storyline this episode was pretty much like there's like this black market biotech company, I think, that is pretty much behind a lot of all of this corruption and the crime, because apparently it's like escalated by 400%, and that is one of the reasons why it's so dangerous out there for cops, and they need these synthetics to be with them. So I think that that's cool, and I think that it's going to be interesting to explore. And if they do a case of the week, I'm okay with that if it's something that's very interesting and sort of moves forward the overall story arc, because just having a case of the week every week can get a little bit boring if there's not something more to it. Because we see these types of shows all the time. And with this major futuristic type element that they're bringing, they need to be able to step it up and make it really cool and tie it all in some way. Does the show have potential? Absolutely. Did it live up to the hype that I brought to it for the premiere? No. But that doesn't mean I'm not still looking forward to it. I will be watching tonight's episode, and I hope that it will bring a little bit more to it and give me the wow factor that I'm hoping for. I do like both of the actors that are playing in the leads, so I hope that the supporting characters, actors, everything will add a little bit more to it as well and give it some more meat and potatoes. So I'll see you guys after tonight's second episode, and I'll give you my review. All right, guys, that's it for now. Bye.